If you have a 700 plus credit score, you qualify for Chase's new program where you could access up to 150.
The best way to attract high ticket coaching clients is not to spend all your time.
Hey family, sorry about the delay. We're having some tech issues. I was even having an issue with YouTube and the app not letting me see your guys' comments, but we are good to go and we are live. So we're glad to see you. We're going to get right to the nitty gritty and make the most of our time with you. So thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm your host, CJ Jamie. This is Sifu Fu. We're Inner Shaolin / Inner Tai Chi, and we're going to talk about Kung Fu, martial arts, health, wellness, and anything else within reason. Also, we are celebrating our 11th year of Inner Shaolin. That was on May 1st, so just a couple days ago. So thanks for those that have already sent us some birthday love. We much appreciate it. Let's see who we currently have on. We have Caesar. This is Hi Family. Happy to be here one more time from San Diego. We also have John on. Hey, brother. Good to see you on. He says, hi, all these early ones are hard to have time to get on Saturday. Well, I'm sorry that you're having a hard time, but I'm glad you're here. We're just trying to be more efficient and stuff when Sifufu comes in with his class and stuff like that. So we kind of piggyback on that. So sorry if it's a little bit early for you. Hopefully one of our other ones in the future will be better for you. We also have, you can call me Tamarix, whose name keeps changing on a regular basis. Hi, good to see you. We also have Manuel Lopez, who is on, coming in from Brazil. Welcome, welcome. We also have Shalom on, who has a question, so we'll get to that in a moment. And then we also have Errol from London, UK on. Hey, brother. And Kagler is on. Hello, 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 hello. I figured you meant hello. No worries. I figured that was a typo. And Errol says, happy 11th birthday, guys. And Kagler says, blessed birthday. Thank you, guys. All right, so let's go with the first question. And anyone that has not put your question in yet, start filling up that chat for us. Go ahead and put that in there. And if you haven't already listened to where you're coming from, please do that as well. So first question, Melanie says, Melanie Wright coming in from Utah. That's right. And all the beautiful scenery. I've been posting some places that I want to visit when we come to see you, Melanie. I don't know if they're anywhere near you because I know Utah is not a small state, but they're on my bucket list officially. So let's go to Shalom. Shalom says, where did he go? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. Ah, there we go. Hi guys, Sifu, how do you think interception or blocking and punching at the same time will work in MMA? Thank you.
It works very, very well as long as you're not doing it defensively. In other words, you're receiving the pressure as opposed to initiating the pressure. So if you're just bringing your hands up like this to attack, it's going to be difficult to impossible to do because you're taking all the energy in your body. You have to initiate the energy. So if someone's punching, you need to come in and make sure you're coming into the part in which you're intercepting. If you're letting them hit you, then it's become very difficult. I actually was just discussing with a new student today. He's like, oh, in Wing Chun, we're taught to block and hit at the same time.
I heard a little bit of that conversation. I was just shaking my head.
The problem with blocking, like I said, is you're taking in the energy. If it's much stronger than what you can sustain, then you're not going to be able to attack. So I tell them we don't block or defend to attack. It doesn't work well. I said, how many times have you seen Wing Chun really successfully do that? It's like the answer is zero. Because if you're getting hit and you're blocking, you're receiving the energy, it's going to knock your balance off. It's going to take your structural integrity off. It can take away your attacking power because of that, because you're absorbing it. So our goal is to initiate. That's why I say we don't defend, we attack or counterattack. So if someone's throwing a hook punch and I bring it up and I do this, if the punch is harder than I think, it knocks me off. It will throw away my attacking power. So you can't do what I call receiving hands, let it come into you. You have to come into them. So if she's throwing like a hook punch, I'm not going like this. I'm not trying to take, because if I'm trying to do this and attack, it might come in more than what I can. But keep it light so it doesn't hurt you. But if I push it in, I hit her in, then I put the energy back into her, and it allows me to keep projecting forward into the hit. But I'm doing it where I'm letting her hit me and trying to do this, it can knock me off balance. It can throw my structural integrity off and break my control and stuff like that. So it's fine to intercept and attack at the same time. It's not good to block and attack at the same time. It's not. I won't say it's not good. It's just it's not in your advantage.
That efficient.
Because you can block someone who's weaker punch and it can work. When you got someone much stronger than you, it's not going to work too well. So if they're punching a weak punch and you block and your block is stronger than their attack, yes, it can work because you can overwhelm them with your force. But when it's the opposite way, it doesn't work well. The good thing about hitting is again, I'm putting pressure into the point. I'm not letting the point go into me. So, so it's good to go that route. If you want to intercept, you can. You do it through the attack. Like I said, I initiate my movement to attack. I don't let it hit me. I'm hitting them. So blocking to strike is not really necessarily good. It actually is. It really is hard to do. I demonstrate it all the time. Where we put people, when they throw attacks at me, I break through them and I go in because I'm not letting them hit me. I am hitting them. But then when I do the opposite way, they feel the pressure while I'm hitting it because they're not hitting me. They're trying to block me. They're trying to get me off them rather than getting into me. So if you want to intercept with always the ability to create an attack or counterattack from the movement. Never do it in a receiving way, like I said, called the receiving hands. You shouldn't receive it. You should be initiating it.
Right on, right on. All right, so let's see. John said, no worries. Once things settle down, we'll be better moved again. Still in Iowa, back to first house. Are you saying that you're leaving Iowa, going back to your first house, or you're moving from the first house in Iowa? Please explain, brother, because I'm a little confused. All right. And then also, Caesar, thank you. I see you. Give me a second. I was going to address Cedric here, who is saying, hello, how to outskill or outsmart a polymath? Is it possible to beat a polymath?
Well, let's answer Caesar's first. He put that thing. I'm gonna honor Caesar's first.
We're gonna come back to you, brother. All right. So Caesar, he said, please break down, roll back, press, and push.
Break down the technique, the form, the application, or a little bit of everything. So I can just show you the purpose of rollback, press, and push is this is rollback, press, and push. The purpose of the rollback, press, and push is to get any pressure in your arm, get it into your wrist, and turn the energy. So here's a basic kind of movement. She grabs my hand. So you can see this. I'm going to go up to this, and this is the rollback I can do where I can bring the energy. So this, turning this, like this, when you do this, that's me hooking her wrist. That's one of the methods of rollback is. So this, rotate this in. When you're doing this, 1, 2, that is this half right here where I'm going here, like I have my arms here. I can hook the wrist, roll it right up into that. That's one method of the arm. The other method is of she's grabbing my arm here. Okay. I can literally roll the wrist this way. You gotta hold on to me. Yeah. So I can literally hook this, rotate this, and then bring that back into her.
Yeah,
Say I can catch her arm. So if they're holding on to you, you can turn the wrist. So this is another. She's punching me. This is a method of which I can catch her hand too. So I go like this. I can go into here. If she's gripping me, I can go into that where I can hook the wrist and get into that way as well. So again, this is the rollback part where I can rotate the wrist. The press and push, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm pressing into them like an attack, or a push is an attack. So it's like she's grabbing me. I can go like this here and do that. That's my push, where I go into this. She's like, see, and then I go into push. I could be both hands in the middle, where I'm doing this way, like this, and to that. Press is like she's grabbing me. I can take her arms like that, and then I can just go into the press. So you can see this is the method, like I said, the rollback, the press, and the push. These are all, like I said, to intercept the point, to learn how to convert the energy, so that way when she's punching me, like I said, I'm connecting. See, this is the ball here, right here. This is the rollback I can have. Again, I can twist. If she's punching me again, I can take this and go into this and then do it a press. So again, I'm using this controlling of the wrist. She's punching, I can do it like this and turn her and get that way too. So I can break it apart, where this motion where it's like this motion can turn this way. As she's punching, I can go right into that and do that.
That's fierce.
So that's the circling of the hand. They don't have to act together. The practice is together, but they are designed so they can be broken apart. So, like I said, so just the cap, gripping, the rollback, it's actually turn the wrist. So that's this part that you're doing here where you're rotating. That's how you get there. Hold me tight if you can. So if you're doing this, see in the form, that's not rotating the wrist, that's pulling the arm. The rotating the wrist, remember, drive to the wrist, hook the wrist. No, hold me. Hold me.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, hold me. And it becomes very difficult. So that she's grabbing this way, again, this is the turn of the wrist here. I can go like that and see. So this is the small turning of the wrist. It's so you don't use your arms to do it. You feed it in your wrist, and your wrist creates the control. So if she's grabbing my hands like this, again, if I'm doing like this, I get caught because, again, I'm not controlling the wrist. I control the wrist through the wrist. I don't use the arms to do it. I feed the arms to the wrist, but I'm not here to use my wrist or my arms to try and break the movement where I'm not pulling, pushing. They don't work. You have to press into the motion, which is a drive to the wrist and turn on point. And that's why you practice staying where you are. If you're doing roll back and you're doing like this, it's not. It has to stay within the wrist. So anytime, so even if I do it like this, you still see I'm in the wrist versus where that looks like I'm going back into my shoulders. You can't go in the shoulder. You have to rotate and keep anything into your wrist, which is why you practice that. So like that's the basis of what you're doing throughout your whole entire Tai Chi. You are learning how to bring the energy to your wrist, learn how to control the energy while having structure in your arm to control energy through your wrist. So I tell my students all the time this: without structural integrity, there can be no control. So if you break your structural integrity, you have no ability to control opponent. You're gonna have to muscle, you're gonna have to force, or you're gonna just collapse. So that's why in the form you have this structure. When you move, you see the structure in my arm, it's still there, and yet I can still that, but if I go, you can see I'm breaking structural integrity. When you do grasp spells, tail, you can see the structure in my arm. But if I'm going like this, I go,
Right.
see, there's no structure. It's just flailing, it's throwing. So that's why we do that. The purpose of the Tai Chi is to create that structural integrity with the control through the wrist. Okay, hopefully that answers your question.
All right, awesome. Lots of good stuff, and thank you again, Caesar, for that super chat love. Now we'll go back to Cedric. Cedric, and was wondering, is it possible to be a polymath? And then we had Melanie going, "What's a polymath?" So for anyone that doesn't know, it's someone that has a wide range of skills and knowledge.
Okay. Well, how do you beat someone that way? Well, it depends on the person's skill. You can't answer something generic.
Yeah, I was going to
and
say,
expect
not
to answer.
every
You don't know
polymath
what
is
he
the
knows.
same,
You don't know
right?
what his skill levels are. But let's just say this. To beat someone who is stronger than you, you need to control the energy. To beat someone who's faster than you have two options. You can close the gap to where you can't use the speed, like grappling, or you can create certain distance to make them overextend. So again, that's using strategy and techniques to counter what they're strong. For every move, there's always a counter move. So the idea is learn how to exploit the weak move and make your strength or your strongest to be the best of your ability to use it against him, and the weakest point the hardest for him to get to. That's the basic answer I can give you for anybody. Because again, what you're asking is something generic. You don't know what he knows.
So
Is he a good
generic.
striker or is he a good grappler? If he's just a good striker, I'd say take him to the ground. You can pretty much take that away. If he's a good grappler, learn how to strike well, learn how to create counter grappling techniques, and then you have a much better chance. But again, you can take the best fighter, and he could have a bad day, a bad mood. He didn't wake up well. He didn't have enough sleep.
Someone he loved died.
The luck could have gone. Again, not everybody's undefeatable. Everybody's defeatable. Every dog has
Everyone's
its
got
day.
a weakness.
So, but to answer that question, like I said, you have to use. There's a counter technique to it. There's always, like I said, if he's a good striker, lock him down. If he's a good grappler, learn how to create anti-grappling techniques with striking. Learn how to fight close quarter to fight a grappler, because you're trying to keep distance, him trying to close it, you're going to start defending. You want him to close in. You want him to come in so you can use your close quarter striking techniques to your advantage. So that's what I can say to beat someone who is a polymath. Has many skills. That's like MMA. That's the concept of MMA, right? Use what works, any style, anything, whatever works best for you. It comes down to, like, again, you have to use your wits. You have some skills, but you have to know what best counters what they're doing.
Right.
There's certain styles that actually develop to counter other styles. I think in Shotokan they were very powerful. Don't get me wrong, I think it's right. But like in Shotokan they were supposed to be very powerful, very forceful. When people were trying to block, they were just getting crushed by this. So the Aiki Jiu-Jitsu was developed to actually work with them, blend with them, use their energy, and then convert it back into them. And so I think that's what it was. Again, I'm not a Japanese historian in terms of martial arts, but I think that's what it was. I could be wrong, but it was something like that in that history. Aikido was developed not to be so aggressive into hurting people, but actually use the force against someone who's much bigger, much stronger. So throughout history, there were styles that actually create to counter other styles. Because no matter what you do, there's always strength, there's always weaknesses. The goal is to make your strength work best for you, the weakness hard for them to get to. So that's the best answer I can give you.
Also, he was just saying, I even asked my friend who is boxing coach about how to beat a polymath. He said he doesn't know because I heard his answer. It makes me want to think the polymaths aren't to be messed with. Polymaths are just people. Everyone has a weakness, right? So I wouldn't think that anyone that's a polymath is someone to be scared of or to think, oh, like they're untouchable, they're unbeatable.
Polymath in theory is MMA. MMA
Right.
is to use any system that works best for you, right? So they don't combine them, limit themselves up to one style, like Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do. Like it's the idea is you're supposed to use any technique that works best for you. That was what the base of Jeet Kune Do was. But just remember, one technique that works for you does not necessarily mean it works for someone else. Their size, their body mass, their weight, their personality, their physicality, it could all make a difference. Somebody who's bigger can use more weight. Someone smaller can use more speed. Again, you have a certain physical fit attribute on your body, and you have to make it work what's best for you. Like I would not tell someone who's big and heavy to do crane techniques where they have to be jumping and flipping in the air. It becomes very difficult. Can he do it? Yeah, of course, he can train really hard to do it, yeah. But his body type is probably more for low center of gravity, like a tiger system or something like that, where he can use his strength to root himself. So again, it comes down to your body type, your personality, the type of training you do. All that goes into factor. Again, it's too general to say how do you beat someone because what kind is he specialized?
Individual basis.
So,
then we got to talk about individuals. So yeah, but hopefully that helps you to not be scared of polymaths and realize, polymaths are human beings, right? Everyone has a weakness. If you're a human being, you got a couple weaknesses, probably not just one. Throwing it out there. All right, so let's move back, and you're very welcome. He said, thank you so much for the answer. You can call me Tamarick. Says, CJ, why don't you teach us? Well, if you've been around and you've been on these webinars, well, one, I'm not the Sifu, okay? So I'm not the expert here on this stuff, but I do teach all the time. I share about health and wellness, fitness, mental wellness, all kinds of different things. And if you've been on some of our other stuff that we've been doing, I do teach Qigong, and if you ever come in when I'm working with people, I teach them what I know. So I do teach, just not in the traditional way yet because I'm not a Sifu. So hopefully that answers your question. And definitely go back and watch some other stuff because I do teach a lot. You just got to listen. Okay. All right. Okay. So Kegler said, let's see, John, how's the strength? Okay. You're talking to John. Okay. Moving on. Oh, John said they have two houses here, one in town, one in the country, selling the one in the town and going back to peace and quiet. Sounds like a great plan. I love that. What's up, Sifu Larry? Thanks for showing up. Hey, yo, come back. Just like that, he ran away. He just ran away. I don't understand. Oh, it's Chico, Sifu Larry. What's up? You got anything to say to the people? No? Oh, okay. All right, well, moving on. And so we also have, let me go down here real quick. Did I miss something? Fictional, even Supergirl has a weakness. Yeah, fictional. Well, even Superman, right? So everyone has a weakness. Samson, absolutely. If we're talking about biblical stories, every person has a weakness. John says, so Sifu has a weakness. He can beat a new goal to sit Sifu Larry and get one finger in when he not want it. What? Oh, okay. Sorry. John, are the fat fingers taking over the keyboard, bro? Okay, that was a little jumbled, but I think you're talking about when we do the Tai Chi exercise with the couch, and you're saying, that way Sifu Larry can sit on the couch instead of you, possibly, if he messes up. I don't know. We haven't actually tried that. I mean, maybe we could do a video on that. Maybe. Might be something to film. Could be good. Could be good for morale for you guys, especially John, because John's very bitter about sitting on the couch one too many times. All right. But yeah, everyone does have a weakness. Seafood foods is sweating, in case you were wondering, and green vegetables and tomatoes. So now you know 3 of his kryptonites, okay? Be nice and be kind. Don't make him sweat or eat vegetables, okay? All right.
No sweat.
No sweat. Cedric says, wow, he reminds me of Jack Black. Oh boy, he's gotten that comment a lot. Yet he's nothing like Jack Black, and he actually doesn't look anything like him either. So funny. But yes, haha. moving on.
Okay, go ahead.
Keckler says, what would you use conditioning to improve Taekwondo sparring skills?
Well, when it comes down to conditioning, okay, it comes down to the physicality and your technique that you perform. If you're wasting more energy to do the technique, you're going to tire out faster. And among all things, you got to remember to breathe. So for us, we use the most energetic, optimal way of moving to get the most amount of power without straining the body. So if you're doing a technique where you're using muscles as a means to driving your power, where you're using more force than necessary, yeah, you're going to get tired out faster. I teach my students, like when we grapple, we can grapple a long time because we don't expend the energy, or we don't breathe, push hard. It's funny because one of my students, he's like one level away from being a black belt jiu-jitsu guy, and he grapples like for an hour and a half in his school. So he's used to conditioning like that way. But when we grapple, he's like, I don't get it. After 5 minutes, I'm tired with you. I don't understand why. I said, that's because I'm using energy against you. Every time you exert it, I'm converting it back to you. So now you're expending energy. Now that expended energy, you have to use your own energy to fight your own energy that's coming back to you, which is why you're tiring out so quickly. So I convert the energy when you're trying to put pressure on me. I don't try to outmaneuver you, outposition you, fighting for saying, I'm actually returning energy. Every time you exert, you have to fight to your exertion. So he's like, I'm really good at jiu-jitsu. I'm one of the top in his class. And he just didn't get it, why. And then he started learning and training, and now he loves going to his jiu-jitsu class and taking what he learns and applying towards that. And he's like, yeah, I can go there and they can put all the pressure on me. Now I know how to stay calm, control the point, rather than try to fight for position. He's like, when they do a move on him, he actually just converts the energy rather than trying to reposition, prevent it. He just says, okay, I'll stay calm, I'll manipulate his energy. So when he practices, he's just like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. Now I'm very relaxed. Again, it's about learning how to use your energy properly where you're not expending yourself. Now, conditioning is good. I'm not saying don't get conditioning. It's good to be conditioned. It's healthy for your body. It's healthy for you anyways. But the idea is when you are going to fight, you don't want to be in condition where you're expending a lot. You want to be in condition where you're good and you don't need to expend a lot. That you can last a lot longer. You don't have to waste. It's like fighting smart versus just fighting forcefully. You got all the physicality where you can fight forcefully, but if you fight smarter, guess how much better you become. So that's the same idea. We condition so we can develop for the tendons more than the muscles, because when muscle strains after 30 seconds, they say, if you're under full stress or you're straining your muscle, 30 seconds, about half of your energy is depleted. Whereas your tendons, you don't. Tendons actually last a lot longer because they're not overcoming pressure, they're maintaining pressure. So you can have a lot more time and energy on developing tendons to outlast your opponent if he's using muscles. That's one. Two, obviously, you have to learn to breathe. You can't hold your breath and exert yourself. If you can convert energy, you're actually using much, much less energy. You don't have to throw much because you are using his energy. It's like you're sitting on his back as he's running. Yes, there's energy you have to use to sit on his back, but you're not exerting the energy to run. You're going with him. He's exerting all that. He's going to get tired. You're on him. He's not able to put energy on you. You're putting energy. That's the same kind of type of principle that we do. We're not trying to fight against our pressure. Like he's running, I'm trying to drag him from running. Yes, then I'll be exerting my pressure against his pressure. Who's going to win? The stronger guy, let's say, just without technique. The strong guy, he's either going to pull me or I'm going to stop him from running. Like that's not what we do. Our job is not to try to overwhelm or overpower the person. Our job is to control them,
right.
Return their energy back to them so they cannot fight. I'm just going to demonstrate this kind of principle to you guys, where I'm going to stand up, where I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by that energy.
Okay.
She's just going to hold me away with both hands if you want to. Right. You can grab my shirt,
okay.
Whatever. So I'm just going to lean, right? Can you hold me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to add any more pressure. So I'm not going to try and bend. If I do this, it's like I don't need to force her pressure. Hold me if you can.
Okay.
Okay. Hold me. Hold me if you can. You see how it becomes very difficult? So when I did this, see, I took her energy, I converted. I didn't force her. I took the pressure that she put on me and actually put it back into her. Well, now she's fighting herself. That's why she's going backwards. If she was on the ground, her arm would collapse.
Yeah.
So she didn't collapse because she was pulling away. If she was on the ground, she couldn't go away. You can see the pressure would actually go back in her. And did I exert more force? I'm just using the lean. Now I'm using my pressure, but I'm converting the pressure rather than try to break her arm, try to position, move her arm this way. I don't have to waste my energy. I can just utilize my energy. And this is like the principles that we teach you how to do. You can still get a good striking techniques, you can get countering techniques, counter grappling techniques, locking techniques, whatever it is you're doing. You can do it where, like I said, you can get a lot of energy with the most minimum amount of force. And that's our goal every time. Like, there is force, don't get me wrong. But where if I go like this on her, and I just go for her arm, like, and I just do like this, I can do a lot of energy where she'll start to feel. Or I just do this.
Yep, that's a difference.
And I can concentrate the energy rather than focus all this energy on one point where I leave open gaps where I leave her body to alleviate the pressure, or I can send all the energy to one point, and when I apply the pressure, it goes there. And so that's again,
do the 1 point.
that's
Fast, quick, efficient.
That's the kind of principles that we do when we are doing this. Sparring, like I said, you want to be in control of what you're doing. You're not just throwing everything you can at someone. I want to snap, but again, I don't snap by throwing my weight. I snap by rooting and torquing the hips. Those are techniques. Whereas I don't want to go like this, where I'm just throwing it. I actually just do that, where I use the earth, the grounding, and I allow myself to snap my movement, not try to overwhelm someone. So, like I said, we want to try to be like a knife rather than a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer's big and heavy. You have to put a lot of force. We focus the energy. We're like a knife. We're light, but we're quick. So when we hit into one single point, one single time. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right, awesome. And guys, we're gonna have to wrap up on time because we do have the members webinar coming up here in a moment.
It's only 2:18.
Which I know. I know that's like right around the corner, Sifu. 2:30 comes fast. So let me go back through this real quick. John did say his fat fingers were getting in the way. I thought so. I'm getting better at decoding the fat fingers. I'm getting good at it, bro. All right, so Kagler said I just championed a saber Olympic match. Okay, cool. Errol said some people make polymath sound like an alien. Yeah, it kind of does sound like that, doesn't it, Errol? Baji says, hi, what if you condition your arms like in Hungar and you block, and your block basically becomes a strike in itself? Hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, I can say, yes, that can work. But what happens when the guy's stronger than you are? Like I said, if you're big and strong and you have a lot of power, you can do that against someone smaller than you.
Right, but if they're conditioning their arms.
When you're like, say, 125 pounds, you have a conditioned arm, your arm is strong, but you're fighting a 250-pound guy, that's a different story. Now his size, his weight, his body, his pressures, all that, he's got thick bones, you got small bones. So yes, it can work when you are stronger than them. But our goal is, like, if you're not genetically superior, where you are like a thick bone guy, you have density, it becomes harder. Like a girl, okay? A girl's not as solid as a guy. Guys are physically superior to women for the most part, in terms of strength, in terms of stamina, stuff like that. Well, maybe not stamina. They say women actually have a better stamina than men. But in terms of quick burst, quick power, men are, on the average, better, superior to women that way. That's why if you look at any record between men and women in Olympics, you see a huge difference in the records when it comes to physical stuff. Yes, you can become strong, but again, if the guy is much bigger, stronger than you, it becomes more and more difficult, and that's the point. So I've seen people's arms get broken from hits where they try to withstand from somebody who knows how to hit. So. But like I said, our goal is we don't have to become stronger. We just have to be structured, and we have to have the control. That's our goal. Yes, we have to have some type of strength. I'm not saying you can be so weak. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that you don't need to use your strength to back up the technique, what you do. Right. You have to have the control behind it. And I'm not going to go break it down to the science behind that, where I have to be stronger, but some principle, for example, someone's throwing a hook punch. Their force in her punch, in this case, is going from left to right. If I go like this, I'm actually going right to left, and that's where I have to be stronger. I can be forceful. And just remember this, even if your arm is stronger, if the guy changes his angle, elevation, his approach, he can actually slip by the arm, unless you learn to adapt to move with him. So if you can learn to move with him, that's fine. But if you were just receiving, she's like blocking her arm. Let's say she had this, like blocked like this. So she's got this, she can hold me, but if I just change the angle a little bit, I rotate, which is what the boxers call slipping the punch. If it changes in the angle, you're just holding, withstanding, you can't adapt to the change of pressure, it will slip through. Our goal is not to, like I said, our goal is not to withstand, it's supposed to connect and control. So it's different. So some of the science behind this is why, like, if a guy's stronger than you, she's swinging left to right, I bring it up, I'm taking the impact. Okay, the impact's going to my arm. So if she's saying like 50 pounds of pressure, I hold on, which the impact here is at 50 pounds of pressure. So if I can only hold 50 and she can swing 30, 40, then fine. But what if she swings 80 or 90? It becomes more difficult. So our goal is never to go against the force. She's swinging left to right, punching. I don't bring from the right to left. I actually go from bottom to up. So I'm not attacking where they're not strong. Her force is this way. I'm actually coming this way. So it makes it easier for me because I'm actually not opposing a force. I'm counting a different vector, velocity, angle. Okay. The other thing is when she does it, if I push this way, can you still engage your arm? Right? Engage your arm now.
Can't.
So when I bring it from down to up, I am disconnecting the shoulder a little bit. And I'm also able to return the energy, which is why I can do this. So if she's throwing a hard punch, I can do like this, just right there, and see it comes right in. So her arm's moving up, if you notice. So if an egg comes like this and you put a wall on it, if it comes at high speed, the egg will crack, right, because of the force. We're like a chute where we're arcing up. So when the egg comes to the chute, it rolls it up. So our goal is not to withstand the pressure. Our goal is to convert the pressure up. So when she's throwing a hook punch, and I go like this, like, no, come in, push it in my ear. So she could feel that come back in this way. And like I said, we've done this many times to show the science behind it. Again, it's not about the strength, okay? Really what the person has is speed. Their power can't overcome you unless you first resist them.
Yeah.
So if they feel strong, it's because you're withstanding them. Pressure is defined by two words. It's opposing force, okay? So if you feel pressure built, it's because you actually opposing their force. Our goal is not to oppose the force. It's to maintain what we have and convert the difference. So if I'm like 80 pounds of pressure, they're 100, I'm going to convert 20. If they're at 200, I'm going to convert 120 pounds. If they're at 300, I'm going to convert 220 pounds. My job is not to create more pressure. It's to maintain what I have and convert the difference. That's the basis of what we try to do.
Yeah.
Our goal is never to overwhelm, because then it comes down to hoping that you're stronger, that they don't change the angle, they don't arc, they don't pull your arm, they don't control the wrist, because we can't counter control pressure. She actually just did a hard block like this, and she just held that arm, which she had it's easy for me if I'm throwing hook the wrist and take them, because there's no wrist control. It's only structure you're having, but you don't have structure and control. The purpose of us building structural integrity is to have control. Without structural integrity, there can be no control. And control is through the wrist. So if you're just holding your arm up and you're withstanding it, you don't have wrist control. You don't, wrist torquing, let's say, there can be no control. You're not manipulating the energy, you're trying to withstand the energy. We manipulate the energy through the wrist. So it's a long story. Again, I don't want to get too into it. But yes, blocking can work if you're more powerful than the person, you're bigger, you're stronger. But again, when it's the opposite, it doesn't work well. Okay, that's why you don't see a 120-pound guy taking a 250-pound guy hit going like this. It's going to smash him. He can't withstand the pressure. So our goal is like, but imagine if he had blades sticking out of his arm, like 9-inch blades just sticking out of his arm. When the guy punches, he goes like this. Now that pressure is going back into him, right? Because that focused energy. So that's what we're trying to do. We're taking the energy, we turn it to the point where we can return the energy to them rather than let them feed the energy to us. We are actually, that torque is what makes the focus. That allows it to turn it back into them. So that's our goal every time. Our goal is not to try to use the strength. Our try is to use the structural integrity with the control, which is the skill. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And also, just like think about the idea of blocking is coming from a defensive posture. You know, we're talking about doing counter offense. Like someone else said, I blocked and hit at the same time. It's the way you block.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like you might be initiating a block, not receiving a block.
Yeah.
And so, and that's a terminology thing afterwards. Like, are you really blocking? Because my definition of blocking is to hold to withstand. Yeah. If you're bringing it into them, you're not really blocking, you're actually initiating, you're striking. So again, it's a matter of what you're doing. I don't see what you're doing, so I don't know if it is a block. And you might be blocking, then striking, not blocking and
which
striking.
Is different.
Which is different.
Totally different.
You're receiving, then you're giving. You're not doing it at the same time.
We're talking about like creating a weapon strike.
Someone talked about blocking and striking at the same time. You can alternate, that's fine. I'm not saying that's not possible. Yeah, of course it's possible. But it's difficult to block and strike at the same time.
We're talking about striking the strike.
We're not blocking. Right. So again, I don't know what it is you're doing. If you're receiving it and you're letting it hit you and you can hit at the same time, that's a different story. But if you're blocking, moving with it and hitting, that's a different story because you're not doing it at the same time. You're alternating it. And it can be done quick where it seems like the same time, but it's not necessarily the same time. Same time means in that moment, not after the moment. So again, and you might be hitting blocking. Again, that might be your term of you're calling blocking. But if you're initiating it, you're not really blocking. You are initiating. You are striking or counter striking, whichever the way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know. I didn't see what you do, but I pretty much will say you're probably alternating it, where you're blocking then hitting. Or you're attacking to attack.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
So then you're not
but
blocking
it becomes
and
very.
hitting. Yeah,
I've yet to see anyone successfully block and hit successfully.
At the same time.
Right, I'm talking about at the same time. Normally, people who get, I've seen people block, they get a strong force, it knocks them off course. They can't stay there and sustain and attack. Because if you're trying to withstand a greater pressure than you have to put a lot of energy behind that from affecting you. And if you put more there, it's harder to hit at the same time because you put more energy there. That's what I'm saying. It's hard. You can't, if you have 100%, you're either going to split 50-50, or you can do 100, or let's say 90-10. So if you can only have a maximum 100%, it's either you could do evenly, you could do 50-50. Like I said, if you're not putting pressure into them, and then you'll let them put their pressure stronger than you, it will break you. It's physics. You can't deny physics. Physics is there. You can't have 100 pounds of force and somebody punching to 200 pounds of force and say that you're going to be able to stand that. You're going to have to get more out of it, or you're going to have to change the angle. Like I said, let's say she's twice as strong as me. I'm not going to beat her this way, but I could beat her if I change the angle and the leverage. Because again, you can negate pressure by attacking from different angles. This is why I said we don't attack from the side, we attack from the bottom. We change the pressure, we change the approach, or we change the pressure. We don't go against the force, we attack it from a different angle. Again, these are different variables that you can change to put it in your favor if you do it right. So again, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to say that you're more than likely, if you're doing it, you're probably blocking and then hitting. You're not blocking and hitting, or you're attacking. Attacking works too, because you're not receiving as you're initiating the energy. So that works as well. But it's hard to receive and attack at the same time. It's very tough. You can do one then the other, but you can't do one and the other. It's very difficult to do.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up real quick. I just want to let you guys know we are having our birthday sale that we do every year. So I'm going to share a screen with you real quick, and then I'll kind of go over the comments right after that real quick. So members, give us a couple minutes. We're going to be a little bit late. I do apologize on that. I was trying to keep it concise. But it's all good. We had a lot of great information here, so I'm sharing my screen with you guys and gals. If you want to know more about No Dak Na, I saw someone asking questions about it. Errol, thanks for stepping in and sharing some of the principles about No Dak Na. If you're not quite ready to join the membership yet and get full access to our training, that's cool. Go to entershaolin.com/gift. You're gonna get a free ebook called the No Dak Na Fundamentals, a 5-day course. You're gonna receive an email. You gotta make sure that you click that you want to be subscribed, and we send you emails and all that good stuff. You'll get a welcome email that'll show you how to log in and get access to that training. If you need any help, you can always email me at support@shaolin.com. But if you're ready to jump in, or you're like, hey, I've been a junior member for a while and I want to get access to the Abbott, we have our birthday sale going on. It's going on for another 5 days, 9 hours and 29 seconds as I am filming this right now. Obviously, that will change if you look at this later. All you have to do is go to entershaolin.com/join, and then use this code when you go to go out to the checkout. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. BDAY50. Now you can join as the junior, as the monthly membership, or you could do the senior. I'm going to highly recommend that you do the lifetime access, because you're going to get the most for your bang for your buck. And you can do even like 10 payments if you want. However you want to do it, you can break it down, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So let's say I click on add to cart. Let me see if it'll let me share that with you guys. I think it does. So you just go down here, you apply the coupon code, which is again BDAY50. Apply the coupon code. It'll say that it's applied successfully, and then you'll see the total amount that it removed and what the total cost is. And again, you can use that on any of the memberships. So like, if you haven't signed up to the membership, you haven't upgraded yet, please do yourself a favor. Give yourself the gift of some amazing Kung Fu. You will not regret it. You will regret not signing up. That much I can promise you. All right, so let me just go back over these comments real quick. Bahi did say thank you. You're so welcome. You can call me Matrix. Hey, stay tuned. I don't know if you're a part of the membership, but when Enter Shaolin 2.0 launches, you will be finding more stuff from Seafood Larry and myself being taught in there. I'm going to be talking more about health and wellness, how you guys can heal naturally, learning to forage and find free medicine that's all around you that you didn't even know was there, and different stuff like that, but also stuff about Qigong, meditation, and we are even going to have a section about faith for anyone that's interested in learning more about our faith and being able to use that as a tool for your healing, your wellness, your mental well-being, and all that good stuff. So I will be sharing and teaching more inside of Enter Shaolin 2.0, but definitely recommend that you get access to the training hall if you haven't already. Go check that out. And you're very welcome, Kagler. Thank you. And yes, bless you. God bless you, y'all. All right, family. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you guys and gals next week. Members, we're going to see you on Zoom in a few minutes. And hey, if anyone signs up to that birthday special, email me real quick on support@entershaolin.com. Let me know, and I will send you a link to the members only webinar. All right, fam. Peace. God bless. See you soon.